Hi everybody, welcome to the online class of Ideal English Higher Secondary School. In this video, we are going to learn a new chapter, The Hour of Truth. The Hour of Truth is a one-act play written by Percival Wilde. So probably one-act play might be a new kind of literature that you are going to learn. You have already known what is a novel, short story, poem, and travel writing. All these things you will be very familiar with. And do you know what is a one-act play? Yes, a one-act play is a play that has only one act, as distinct from plays that occur over several acts. One-act plays may consist of one or more scenes. In recent years, the 10 minutes play has emerged as a popular subgenre of the one-act play, especially in writing competitions. So one-act play is just like a play. You have already known dramas, right? A drama has so many acts, and in an act there are so many scenes. At the same time, this one is a sub-part of a drama, you can say. So in a one-act play, there is only one act and there can be many scenes. Okay, and we'll learn something more about drama and the script. Okay, so convention of a play script. What are the things in a script? If you are about to prepare a script, what are the things you have to take care of? Okay, first of all, a script is the written text of a play. So before you prepare a play or a drama, you should have a written text. Anything that has to be read out aloud and performed, any dialogue that you have to perform there should be written, and that is called a script. An act. What is an act? The major division of a play, like a chapter in a book. So in a book there are many chapters. Just like that, in a drama, in a play, there are many acts. A play could have 1 to 5 acts or more. Within each act, there are usually a number of scenes of continuous action. So in a play, there are many acts, and in an act, there are many scenes. Okay, scene. Then what is a scene? Scene. Each act is broken down into a series of short scenes. A scene often focuses on one key event. So one major event takes place in a scene, and such like events make an act, and so many acts make a play. Okay, a scene often focuses on one key event. Every new scene could take place in a different setting. So a new scene takes place in different settings. Okay, hope you understood what are plays and what are the things you have to take care of when you prepare as a script. Okay. Then other thing you have to take care of is stage direction, because the plays or dramas are meant to be performed, right? It is to be performed on stage. So you should have what are the settings to be done on the stage in your mind. So stage direction. Instructions written in the text which tell the actor where or how to move, how to behave or speak a line. So in the script itself, you have to mention from which direction does the character enters and through which direction does he exist. Right, and the same way, what does he speak? It would be there as a dialogue, and what is his facial expression? What is his mood? All those things have been mentioned in the script. So the actor will or how to move, how to behave or speak a line. It can also include instruction for sound, lighting, and other visual effect. So in a drama, there may be some background music. So those things also can be mentioned there in the script, right? And what about the lightings? The lighting arrangement also can be mentioned. Okay, and other visual effect, often printed in a font different from the spoken words and or put in brackets. So the stage settings usually kept distinct from the spoken words in different ways. It can be in italics. You can see in your textbook some words have been given in italics along with the dialogues. Those are stage directions, or their mood or the facial, the emotions have been explained in the brackets. Okay, otherwise it can be in bracket, either in bracket or in italics. They give it the directions, the stage direction. Setting. Setting means a place, time of the day or date when or where a scene occurs. So before a play starts, they give an elaborated setting, which gives the reader, or which would be very helpful for you to perform the play, because it gives this the time and place of the drama. Okay. So we are going to start our chapter now, the one-act play, The Hour of Truth. Here is a play in which the protagonist, who is really true to himself and conscience, struggles to keep to his truthful ways of life. He also proves that truth will prevail in the end. So this one-act play is about truthfulness. From the title itself, you understood that the hour of truth. What does the author mean by the title, The Hour of Truth? Do you think actually there is a particular hour when you have to be truthful? Of course not. A truthful person will be truthful always. Nothing can alter his mind, right? So in the case of some people, they'll be very truthful with everyone, but in some cases, when they find that they have some gainings by altering their decision, they change. Those people can't be said to be truthful, right? So in the drama, we find different type of characters. One is very truthful. The protagonist in the drama, in the one-act play, is a very truthful man who never changes his attitude, his decision as per the situations. And at the same time, we see some other characters. In the beginning, we see them very persons of having high moral values, but at times we find them, they change their mind. When they find they are going to gain some financial support, financial gainings, they alter their mind, and at times they become dishonest too. Okay, we will see them anyway. And what is the theme of the play? Study on the corrupting influence of money on people. Money has corrupting influence. Money has corrupting influence on human mind. Money makes many is a very popular proverb. Probably you all have heard, right? Money makes many. So if you have money, you can use it in different ways. Right, you can use it for charity, to look after your family, and at the same time you can use it negatively too. So money has a corrupting influence on human mind. It can alter your mind. People would do anything for money. And the other second theme is greed and its effects. What is the effect of greed? And the good gets reward and the bad gets punishment. That is another theme of the play. Good people get its reward, they get the reward for their virtue, and at the same time, bad people get punished. How easily people forget their morals and values before money. That is a very familiar thing, that when people get money, when people have money, they forget the morals and values, right? So all these themes have been discussed in this one-act play, The Hour of Truth by Percival Wilde. Okay, let's go in deep. And settings. What is the setting of the play? In the beginning, we discussed for a play, there is settings and characters, all those things, right? So what is the setting of this play? The play takes place in a parlor of a little cottage where a family awaits the return of their head, Mr. Baldwin. So the play takes place in a parlor, means a small room in a flat, in a building, where all the family members are eagerly waiting for their head of the family to come, the father of their children, Mr. Baldwin. Weather is reported. The weather is also being discussed there in the beginning. Flash of lightning, dark sky. It is the weather then, and it is the symbols of something not going to be good. Something chaotic, something disturbing is there in their mind. So the weather reflects their mind. What is the plot of the play? So for any play or story, there must be a plot, right? Plot means the main events. What is the main events in the story or in the one-act play? Mr. Robert Baldwin works in the bank of Mr. Gresham, who is now in police custody for misappropriation of depositors' money. So Gresham is the owner of the bank where Mr. Baldwin works. And for now, Gresham is arrested for misappropriating the fund in the bank, the fund of the depositors. He offers Mr. Baldwin, his friend, a truthful person, $1 lakh as bribe to say 3 words, I don't remember, at the time of the trial, which is going to take place the next day. So the next day, Gresham will be reported in the court, and Mr. Baldwin, he's a very truthful person, and he's the protagonist of this play. And Gresham offers Mr. Baldwin $1 lakh just to tell in the court, I don't remember, the 3 words. The reaction to this offer from all other members of his family is the main plot of the play. So, how does Baldwin react to this offer, and what is the reaction of his other family members to this offer? That makes the main plot of this play. Okay, we will go in details. Before going to the chapter about the author, Percival Wilde, 1887 and 1953, Percival Wilde was known for his plays and detective stories. He also received books for newspaper. Some of his famous works are Brothers Little Short and First is Lost. The Hour of Truth is from the volume entitled A Question of Morality and Other Plays. This play is a strikingly psychological study of the corrupting influence of money on people. So all these things we have already discussed in this drama. It will be discussed what is the corrupting impact of money on human mind. Okay, now read the text carefully at least twice, from the beginning of the chapter to Baldwin simply yes, $100,000. The Hour of Truth. Characters: Robert Baldwin, the main character, the protagonist of the play; Martha, his wife; John, Baldwin's son; Evie, his daughter; Mr. Marshall, the owner of another bank, and a maid. And there is another character, Mr. Gresham, who is not seen in the story but who is being discussed throughout the play, Mr. Gresham. Okay, he doesn't have any role to play in this drama, but a background. he is the main point of discussion in the play. Okay, the play begins. The scene at Baldwin's house is this. It is a rather hot and sultry Sunday afternoon, and the sun overhead and the baked clay underfoot are merciless. In the distance, lowering clouds give promise of coming relief, and at the parlor window of a trim little cottage, the Baldwin family is anxiously awaiting the return of its head. So as we said, the story takes place in a small room in a building. A trim little cottage means a neat, beautiful one, a neat cottage. And the family members of Robert Baldwin are eagerly waiting for the father, for the head to come to their home. And the weather has been discussed. It is hot and sultry. Sultry is also hot and humid. Anyway, the weather mentioned here is of some disturbance. Still, there is a hope of something good is going to happen in the end. So in the beginning itself, the author gives a hint that something disturbing is going to happen, and towards the end, something hopeful will take place. Okay. John, the son, an average young man of 27, is smoking a pipe as philosophically as if this day were in no whit more momentous than any other. But his mother, trying to compose herself with her knitting, has made little progress in the last half hour, and Evie, his sister, takes no pains to conceal her nervousness. So John, the son of Baldwin, he smokes the pipe, and he feels that this is the most busy day or nervous days, a day of restlessness. And his wife, Martha, is knitting, but for the last half an hour, she couldn't do it in a proper way. She couldn't make any progress in her knitting as she was nervous too. And Evie, his daughter, she reveals her nervousness. Though the others were nervous too, they do not give a hint to you. They do not give the sign of nervousness. At the same time, Evie, she openly shows that she is nervous. There is a tense pause. It seems as if none of them likes to break the silence. For the 10th time in 10 minutes, Evie goes to the window and looks out along the sultry road. So all of them are silent, right? They are waiting for someone, for their father to come home. They do not speak now. They are busy with their job, but still it doesn't make a move. And at last, Evie goes to the window and looks out to the hot road. Martha, it's time he was home. So they talk. It's time for father to come home, but he's not seen still. I do hope he hasn't forgotten his umbrella, such a habit of leaving it behind him. So Martha says Baldwin has a bit of forgetfulness. He used to forget leaving his umbrella back. I hope he hasn't forgotten it. Maybe, yes, Martha. So the conversation goes on. Martha says, "It might rain, don't you think so, Evie?" Without waiting for an answer, she goes to the window and looks out anxiously. So this is the thing that what we were talking about in the beginning. You can see the settings here, right? Without waiting for an answer, she goes to the window and looks out anxiously. So her movement is mentioned there, and it is in the bracket. So these things comes under stage settings. So when you prepare a script of your own, remember to make the stage settings, expressions like this in the bracket, and you can see it is written in italics too. Okay, so it might rain. The sky is so dark. She starts. Right. There was a flash of lightning. John rises slowly, moves to a center table and knocks the ashes out of his pipe. His mother turns to him. So all this, the movements of the characters have been mentioned, right? John moves to the table and he removes the ash in his pipe in the ashtray, and his mother turns to him. John, run into your father's room and see that the windows are closed. That's a good boy. So a mother asks John to go to his father's room and check whether the windows are closed or not, as it is going to rain. Okay, John, right out, he goes. So the movement. Evie, after a pause, mother, she calls her mother. There is no response. Again, she calls mother. Mrs. Baldwin turns slowly. What does Mr. Gresham want with him? Has he done anything wrong? Evie asks her mother if her father has anything to do with the collapse of the bank. Then Martha proudly says, your father? No, Evie. She is very proud that her husband, Mr. Baldwin, is a very truthful man. So she believes that he would never commit a crime. Evie, then why did Mr. Gresham send for him? Gresham is in jail. He's been jailed because he has committed some crime. He has misappropriated with the depositor's money. Then why did he send for father? Martha, he wanted to talk to him. Mother says, Gresham wanted to talk with your father. Evie, what about Mr. Gresham has been arrested? They are going to try him tomorrow. What can he want with father? Then Evie asks, Gresham is in jail. Tomorrow he will be produced in the court. Then what does he want to talk with our father? Martha, your father will have to give evidence. He has to give evidence, Evie. But he is going to give evidence against Mr. Gresham. Why should Mr. Gresham want to see him? He's going to give evidence against Gresham, no? He's jailed and he has committed crime. Then Baldwin would produce the evidence against Gresham. Still, why doesn't Gresham want to meet him? Martha says, I don't know, Evie. You know, your father doesn't say much about his business affairs. She pauses. I didn't know there was anything wrong with the bank until I saw it in the paper. Your father wouldn't tell me to draw my money out. He thought it wasn't loyal to Mr. Gresham. Evie nods. I did it my own accord against his wishes when I suspected. So Martha had an amount in Gresham's bank, and whenever she wanted to withdraw the amount, Baldwin didn't allow her because he thought that it is not fair as the bank is his friends. So Martha withdrew the amount against the wish of Baldwin as she suspected that there was something wrong with the bank. Evie, after a pause, do you think their father had anything to do with... Evie asks her mother, do you think our father has any role in the collapse of the bank? She doesn't complete the sentence, and Martha interferes. She says, with the wrecking of the bank, you know him better than Evie. Do you think your father has a role in the breaking of the bank? You know better him, Evie. But he didn't know what was going on. You know what the papers are saying? So I know, Mom, but do you know what the papers are saying? The press, the news channels and newspapers, they will celebrate any case that comes like this. They would create gossip about persons. So here, Baldwin is also not spared by the papers. Martha says they haven't been fair to him. Evie, perhaps not, but they said he must have been a fool to not to know. They said that only he could have known. And Mr. Gresham, why don't he stop it? And the papers say only Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Gresham have known what was going on there in the bank. If Mr. Baldwin had known, why didn't he stop it? Martha, he was acting under Mr. Gresham's orders. Evie contemptuously Gresham's orders. Did he have to follow them? Martha said, your father do not do anything on his wish. He was acting he was acting under the orders of Mr. Gresham. Then Evie contemptuously she asked, does our father to follow whatever Gresham asks to do? Martha again says after a pause, Evie, I do not believe your father ever did a wrong thing in his life, not if he knew it was wrong. So, if your father knew that what Mr. Gresham was doing in the bank is wrong, he wouldn't have done it. He found out by accident, what Mr. Gresham was doing. So, by accidentally, Mr. Baldwin found what Mr. Gresham was doing in the bank. How do you know? Evie asked, how do you know it was by mistake, by accident that our father found it? I don't know it. I suspect it. Something he said. You see, Evie, he can't have done anything wrong. They have indicted him. They haven't indicted him. So, all these way you can see Martha is very proud of Baldwin's stance, his attitude, his truthfulness, and he proudly talks about his truthfulness, right? And they haven't indicted him, and they haven't alleged him, they haven't suspect him with any guilt. John, I met the assistant cashier yesterday. John says, the son interferes and he says, I met the assistant cashier of the bank yesterday. Evie asks, Donovan? Yes, Donovan, I saw him up at the athletic club. He said that nobody had any idea that there was anything wrong until the crash came. Donovan had been there 8 years. He thought he was taken care of the rest of his life. He had got married on the strength of it. And then one morning there was a sign upon the door. It was like a bolt out of a clear sky. So John says, as he met Donovan, he shared his worries. He said he didn't know anything about the misappropriation that was going on in the bank. Only at the time of the crash, he came to know that only something wrong was there in the bank. Actually, as he got a job in the bank, he thought he has got a secure job and rest of his life he'll be secured. And on that strength, he got married too. But unfortunately, one day when he went to the bank, he found a signboard there at the door of the bank which says the bank has been sealed for some misappropriation. So only then Mr. Donovan came to know about it. And it was just like a bolt out of the clear sky. It was really unexpected. It is an idiom. Okay, a bolt out of a clear sky means it was utterly unexpected. Evie, and father, he said the governor must have known. He'll swear nobody else did. You see, father was closer to Gresham than anyone else. That puts him in a nice position. So then Evie eagerly asked, what about our father? What did Donovan say about our father? Then John says, Donovan said to me that your father was very close to Gresham, so your father must have known. Only your father and Gresham had known what was going on there in the bank. So because of his close relationship with Gresham, he is under suspicion too. Martha, what do you mean, John? The governors is the only witness against John Gresham, and me named after him, John Gresham, at your service. So, Mr. Baldwin, their father, is the only witness against Gresham. And John, he was named after John Gresham, as Baldwin was very close friend to John Gresham. He named his son John Gresham Baldwin. Okay, Martha, your father will do his duty, John, no matter what comes of it. Still, Martha is very proud of John's attitude. She says, your father will do his duty, whatever comes of it. John, I know it, and I am not sure, but what if it is right? So he says, I know my father will do his duty, but I am not sure about it. And then they look each other inquiringly. There is John Gresham growing rich in 20 years, and the governor pegging along as his secretary at $60 a week. So in short time, Mr. John Gresham has grown a very big rich man. At the same time, my father is pegging along with with a meager amount of income. Pegging along means struggling hard. So Gresham has grown a big rich. At the same time, my father is struggling with low income. So I do not know what happens for sure. Martha says, your father never complained. He has never complained about the short income. John, no, that's just the pity of it. He didn't complain. Well, he'll have his chance tomorrow. He'll go on the stand, and when he's through, they'll put John Gresham where he won't be able to hurt anybody for a while. Wasn't satisfied with underpaying his employees, had to rob his depositors. Serves him jolly well, right. So John says, okay, father hasn't complained. He did never complain about his short income, but tomorrow he has got a chance when he will be produced. When Gresham will be produced in the court, our father will stand, will be there to give evidence. Then our father can send him to jail by producing the evidence. So Gresham will be jailed where he can never harm people. He was underpaying his employees, and still he was robbing his depositors too. So he'll be in a nice place soon, John says. Martha, rather timidly, I don't think your father would like you to talk that way, John. So Martha says, Gresham is very close friend of your father. I don't think your father would like you to speak this way indignantly without having any respect to your father's friend. John shrugs his shoulder, speaks contemptuously. Martha, your father has nothing against Mr. Gresham. He will tell the truth, nothing but the truth. Your father hasn't anything, he hasn't any anchor towards Gresham, but he will tell the truth, nothing but the truth in the court, John. Did you think I expected him to lie? Not father. I don't think my father will lie. He'll tell the truth, just the truth. It will be plenty. Our father will tell the truth in the court, and it is enough to send Gresham to jail. If father says what he knows in the court, Gresham will be put in jail. He will be behind the bars. Evie at the window, there is father now. There is the click of a latch key outside. Evie makes for the door. So as they hear the sound of the latch key, the latch is being opened. They start to the door. Then Martha says, Evie, you stay here. Let me talk to him first. Martha hurries out. John and Evie look at each other. Martha goes out. John wonder what Gresham had to say to him. Evie shrugs her shoulder. He turns away to the window. It started to rain. So John wonders, what does Gresham want to talk with our father? He's in jail. And what might it be? What might it be he wanted to share with our father? Evie Yes. There is a pause. Suddenly John crosses to the door and flings it open. John crosses and flings the door open. John, hello, Dad. Baldwin coming in, followed by Martha. How are you, my boy? He shakes hands with John. Evie, he kisses her. So as Baldwin comes in, he shakes hands with John and he kisses Evie, his daughter. So that's how they greet each other. Martha, you are sure your shoes are in wet, Robert? Baldwin, shaking his head. I took the car, not a drop on me. See, he passes his hands over his sleeves. He goes to a chair, sits. There is an awkward pause. Martha asks Baldwin, are you sure you haven't got wet? Then he says, I'm sure I am not wet. I took the car. So can you see I am full dry? So then he goes to a seat and he sits. Then there was an awkward pause. Everybody just kept quiet for a while. John, well, Dad, don't you think it's about time you told us something? So John starts the talk again and he asks his father, Father, don't you have anything to share with us? Talk to us. Baldwin, told you something? I don't understand, John. People have been talking about you, saying things. People have been talking about you something, Father, so don't you have anything to talk about it to us? Baldwin, what kind of things, John? You can imagine rotten things and I couldn't contradict them. They say bad things about you and I can't oppose them. Baldwin, why not, John? John, because I don't know. Baldwin asks, why can't you oppose the people? If they talk bad things about me, why can't you oppose? Because I don't know, Father. I don't know what happened really. Baldwin, did you have to know? Wasn't it enough that you knew your father? So you have to know what happened actually. Don't you know your father? You knew your father. Your father is a truthful man and you have to know about what happened to contradict to the people. Baldwin asks. John, after a pause, I beg your pardon, sir. Baldwin, it was only a day before the smash-up that I found out what Gresham was doing. He pauses. They are listening intently. I told him he would have to make good. He said he couldn't. Then now Baldwin talks about what happened. Only just before the break, Baldwin too came to know about what was going on there in the bank. And as he found, he informed Gresham he has to make it good. He has to make it correct. But he said, I couldn't. Evie, as he does not know, continue. As he stopped, Baldwin stopped. Evie interfered. And what happened? Baldwin, I told him he would have to do the best he could and the first step would be to close the bank. He didn't want to do that. Then Baldwin said, if you cannot do that, you can do whatever you can. At first, you can close the bank for a while and correct the things. Later, we can open the bank. But he was not ready for that. Martha, but he did it. But he closed the bank. Baldwin, I made him do it. He was angry, very angry, but I had the whip hand. Yes, Gresham closed the bank, but I made him do it. He was very angry, but I had the whip hand. I have a command over him as we were friends, so I forced him to close the bank. Evie, the papers didn't mention that. But the papers didn't say that you forced him to close the bank. Baldwin, I didn't think it was necessary to them. I don't think that it is necessary for the papers to do so. It is not their job. They celebrate any news like this. They don't want to save people. Martha, but you let your name rest under a cloud meanwhile. But Baldwin, because you do not say anything to the papers, as you do not share anything about Gresham, you rest your name under a cloud for a while. You are under suspicion for now. Baldwin, it will be clear tomorrow, won't it? He pauses. everything will be clear tomorrow when Gresham will be taken to the court, and I will have to give the evidence, I will have to share my words as the witness, then everything will be cleared. He poses, today Gresham sent for me, the trial begins in 24 hours. I am the only witness against him. He asked, you can guess what? So today Gresham had sent for me. You know why? Because within 24 hours the trial begins and I am the only witness against Gresham. And you can guess why did he wanted to meet me? John indignantly, means angrily. He wanted you to lie to save his skin, wanted you to perjure yourself. He wanted to lie to save himself in the court. Right, Gresham wanted you to lie in the court so that he will escape from the case. Baldwin, that wouldn't be necessary, John. He just wanted me to have an attack of poor memory. If I tell all I know, John Gresham will go to jail. No power on earth can save him from it. But he wants me to forget a little. Just the essential things. When they question me, I can answer, I don't remember. They can't prove I do remember. And there you are. So, Baldwin says, that's not necessary, John. Actually, Gresham wanted me to act just like I have a short memory, an attack of poor memory, and he is sure that if I share whatever I know in the court, he will be put in jail. But when they ask me some things, if I say just I don't remember, that's enough. Gresham can escape. And they can't prove that I do remember. That's it. So if I just say that I don't remember, he'll be saved. That's what Gresham wanted me to do for him. John, it would be a lie that John is very, very strict. You can see his morality here, right? He's never support Gresham's because he knows that Gresham has committed crime. So he says, it would be a lie that, Baldwin smiling, of course, but it's done every day and they couldn't touch me any more than they could convict him. Yes, if I say I don't remember, it is a lie. But there are so many things that I forget. It happens every day. I forget things. Of course, but it is done every day and they couldn't touch me any more than they could convict him. Yes, that would be a lie, but that happens every day. I forget too. I forget every day too. And if I say whatever I know in the court, he will be convicted. Gresham will be put behind the bars and they cannot touch me. Martha quivering with indignation. How dared he ask such a thing? Martha with much anger that, how dare Gresham ask you to lie? You are such a truthful man and still he asked you to lie. How dare he? Evie, what did you say, Father? Baldwin, smiling and raising his eyes to John's. Well, son, what would you have said? John, I would have told him to go to the devil. Then Baldwin asks John, okay, John, if you were in my place, what would you answer? What would you tell him? If John Gresham asks you to do something like this, and if you were in my place, what would be your response? John says, I would have told him to go to the devil. Go to hell. I would have told him, go to hell. Baldwin nodding. I did. Baldwin said the same. He nodded. I did the same. Then, bully for you, Governor. So it's an expression, shows approval. Oh, you did it, Dad. You did it. You did a great job, Dad. Martha, half to herself, half to herself, not completely. I knew. I know you would do that. I already knew. Baldwin, I didn't use your words, John. He's too old a friend of mine for that, but didn't mince matters any. He understood what I meant. I didn't use the word you used. I can't use that words because he's my friend. But I didn't means any matter, means I didn't leave any matter without mentioning. I told everything. I said what I have to, and he understood what I mean. Maybe. And what did he say then? What did he say then when he listened to your response? What was his words then? Baldin, there wasn't much to say. You see, he wasn't surprised. He's known me for 35 years, and well, with simple pride, anybody who has known me for 35 years doesn't expect me to change, to haggle with my conscience. So, when I said Gresham that I don't remember in the court, he didn't surprise. He was so cool because he expected the same answer from me because he knew me for 35 years. Anyone who knows me for 35 years will never expect me to do this for them. And anyone who has known me for 35 years doesn't expect me to haggle with my conscience. I want a bargain with my inner heart. If it had been anybody else, I would have struck him across the face. If it were someone else in the place of Gresham, I would have struck him across the face. I didn't do it to Gresham because he's my friend. But John Gresham and I were boys together. We were friends together. We were friends since our boyhood. We worked side by side, and I've been in his employ ever since he started in for himself. So, and I have been an employee in his bank ever since he started his own bank. So I cannot do that. He is desperate. He doesn't know what he is doing, or he wouldn't have offered me money. And he's so desperate and he does not know what he's doing. He offered me money. If he knew that what he's doing, he wouldn't have offered me money. John, furious, offered you money, Dad? Gresham offered you money? Baldin, simply, yes, $100,000. Gresham offered me $100,000. Means 1 lakh rupees. He offered $1 lakh. Gresham offered me. Okay, here we stop the chapter. So far we have seen the attitude of the family members. They are against Gresham. They are talking against Gresham. They wanted him to be jailed because he has done some unforgivable crime. He has misappropriated with the depositor's money, so he is to be sent to jail. And Baldin has a soft corner towards Gresham as his friend. Still, Baldin will be truthful always. Right. Now he mentioned that Gresham has offered him $1 lakh. Right. So after hearing this offer, there happens some change in the attitude of the family members, and we will learn it in the coming chapters. For now, we will stop here, and hope you understood the story so far. Watch the video again if you do not understand, and do the works that I give along with this video. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.